Wow, you've made it to the third video today, and we're going to write some katakana. Now we are going to introduce the katakana at a slower pace than hiragana. You'll probably notice that the katakana characters are a lot simpler too. They have straighter lines and fewer strokes. You'll find Japanese much more fun and exciting if you study new material daily and review older material regularly. Remember, at least 20 minutes of studying every day. Our first katakana character is e. E looks a lot like our capital I, and it's 3 strokes. Stroke 1 is the horizontal stroke across the top. Stroke 2 is the vertical stroke down the center, and stroke 3 is the horizontal stroke across the bottom. Notice it is a little bit longer than stroke 1. All 3 of these strokes stop. Let's try this together. Stroke 1 goes across the top, stroke 2 down the center, and stroke 3 across the bottom. E. Perhaps you can remember this by thinking of elevating your car to repair it. If you don't have a car, you may think of a better way to remember this one. Ke is also 3 strokes. The first stroke starts to the left of center and slants down to the left. It ends in a tail. The second stroke is the horizontal stroke. It stops. And the third stroke is the one down the middle. It curves to the left and also ends in a tail like stroke 1. So let's try this together. Stroke 1, off to the left, it ends in a tail. Stroke 2 is horizontal, it stops. And stroke 3 goes down, curves to the left and tails. Ke. I don't know, if you kind of look at this side word, it kind of looks like a capital K. Yeah, that's kind of a stretch. I'm sure you can do better. Our next character is Su. You will notice that for the pronunciation, I'm not using the Western characters. Since we already know the hiragana Su, I'm just going to leave the hiragana character there. That way you can study both of these characters at the same time. The first stroke of Su looks a lot like a 7, and it appears in a lot of katakana strokes, just like that curly Q in the ha, ho, ma, yo stroke in the hiragana. So remember this stroke. And then the second stroke is this stroke that slants down to the right and stops. Let's try writing Su together. Stroke 1 looks a lot like a 7, goes across and down. Stroke 2 comes down off the middle of stroke 1 and stops. Su. Perhaps we can remember this one by thinking of a suit hanger. Wait, that's not a suit hanger. You never hang a suit on a wire hanger. We definitely need to think of something else. Did you notice that most of the characters today have 3 strokes? For me, all 3 of these strokes are parallel, and they all slant down to the right. They all stop, and they start from the top and move to the bottom. Please note that stroke 3 is longer than both of the other strokes, and stroke 2 is just a teeny tiny bit shorter than stroke 1. So, all together now. Stroke 1 slants down to the right. Stroke 2 slants down to the right. Stroke 3 slants down to the right. Me! And for this character, just think of an opera singer warming up with a bunch of 16th notes. Ugh, I'm definitely not a singer, and I definitely need a better way to remember this. Our final character today is N. And N is a katakana character that must be drawn correctly, or it will get confused with 2 other characters. The first stroke is a short, almost horizontal stroke that slants just a little bit down to the right. It stops. The second stroke starts below the first stroke and tails up to the right. Okay, many people will start this stroke with a check, little tick mark, a hook at the bottom, so it looks kind of like a small check mark. Practice this one well. So let's try this together. Stroke 1 is almost horizontal but slants slightly down to the right. Stroke 2 starts below stroke 1 and slants quickly up to the right. To remember this, think of covering cuts, scratches, with band-aids. Who covers a little scratch with a band-aid? I'm running out of ideas. I'm glad this is the last character for this lesson. However, before we go, let's take a look at some diacritical markings, because just like the hiragana, they apply to the katakana. Ke comes from the kagyo. So if we take ke and apply the dakuten, we get ge. Su comes from the sagyo. So if we take su and apply the dakuten, we get zu. What could be easier? So now here is the full katakana table, and here are the characters that we just learned. There are only 5 this section. Once again, we'll introduce the katakana at a slower rate because we want you to focus on the hiragana first. However, when we get into Unit 2, we'll start introducing katakana a lot faster. Oh, also remember there's the dakuten and handakuten table, and we learned these 2 pronunciations here. This unit moves rapidly. Do not fall behind.